Sometimes when you want to travel, there is no one to go with. So you have to get comfortable going by yourself. But being in a new place by yourself can be really daunting. I mean, we see the headlines, we all saw Taken, and not all of us have a Liam Neeson who's coming after us. But if we live our lives afraid, then we miss out on amazing opportunities to grow and become braver, more adventurous people. I'm Annie, I'm a frequent traveler, and I run the account Average Girl Does Cool Things. And in this video, I'm going to share how you can prepare for your first solo trip, overcome your fear, and embrace your courage to experience an adventure that transforms your life. Ooh, that is a very big promise. So let's get into it. But before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more travel inspo and how-to content. So the first thing I recommend that you do before you even plan a trip is to take a baby step. So this might be something like a staycation, it might be something like going out to dinner by yourself, something small that takes you outside of your comfort zone. Now the goal here is to help you start to build up your resilience, but it's also really critical in understanding what obstacles you might face when you go on your solo adventure. So this is a safe way to identify those obstacles, and then you can come up with a plan to mitigate them. So for example, if you find going out to dinner by yourself that you're really lonely, then you might make a plan on your trip to meet up with a group of people, or to go to a social event, or to schedule a regular phone call with your friends from home. This is just a great way for you to test the waters, to identify your triggers, and then come up with a plan for them. Once we've got that basis sorted, the next step is to pick your destination. And I really recommend that for the first time, you take a short, manageable trip to a popular destination. Why? Because these places often already have the infrastructure in place that's going to make it a lot easier for you to pass through. In other words, they're going to be used to tourists, there's going to be some sort of transportation system in place, and you're going to experience most of the creature comforts that you're used to back home. You also need to make sure that you are considering the language barrier. I strongly encourage you to go to a destination that doesn't speak your native language, but where that language is also widely spoken. This is going to force you out of your comfort zone a little bit because it's going to force you to deal with the native language in things like signage and, locals who are running shops. But you've got a security blanket where most people will speak whatever your language is, and you've got that backup and someone there sort of like able to translate. For example, if you're an English speaker like myself, going to a place like Rome is a great idea. Obviously in Rome, they speak Italian, so you'll have to navigate the city in Italian, but English is really widely spoken. So while you'll try your Italian, you'll also have the fallback of English. I mean, you want to get a little bit of a culture shock, but you don't want to be completely lost. Your next step is to plan it out. Now, planning a trip is actually one of the most exciting times. Research has shown that people who take the time to plan trips out actually experience more satisfaction from the trip than if they just spontaneously went. But you need to consider your own comfort level. Are you a total planner or are you a spontaneous Sally? I think the successful solo trip lies somewhere in the middle. You want to have basics covered, but you want to leave room for adventure. When I travel solo, I always like to make sure that I at least have plane tickets and I have a place to stay. If I have those two things covered, I can figure out the rest. But if I set myself too rigorous of a schedule, then I don't feel like I'm actually taking time to get to know the destination or to take time and explore. Now, the problem is if you're too spontaneous, you might end up in some unsafe or unsavory situations. If you show up and you don't have a hotel room booked, you might end up sleeping on the floor of a hostel, and that's not so exciting for your solo trip. So planners need to leave some space for spontaneity, and spontaneous Sallies need to plan a little bit for their own safety. The next thing we have to talk about, and this is probably your number one concern, is safety. Now, yes, traveling by yourself is super scary, but there are so many basic things that you can do and put in place so that you are safe whenever you're adventuring. The first thing I want you to do is make backups of all of your documents. Put them on the cloud or even print them out so you have duplicates. That way, if something goes wrong, if like your passport gets stolen, your credit cards get stolen, you have backup information. You've got a backup credit card maybe stashed away, and that way it's really easy for you to continue to navigate and to get the problem rectified rather than if you just completely lost your documents. So that is step number one. Step number two is to flesh out your basic travel plans. For my planners, spontaneous Sallies, this is important. Make sure you flesh out your basic travel plans, where you plan to be, maybe the phone number of your hotel would be great, and then share that with a trusted family member or friend. That way, someone knows where you are, someone is looking out for you, and hopefully somebody is also checking in on you. Now, in this vein of somebody checking up on you, if you are a US citizen, this is a great time to sign up for STEP. This is the State Department's travel program where you tell the State Department where you're going to be, and that way, if something happens, they know that you're in the country and will try to offer aid. STEP is free to sign up for. It's super simple to just fill out on the website, and I highly recommend for every American traveler traveling abroad that you start your journey with STEP. The next thing I want you to do is to pick a hotel in a safe location. I love using something like a TripAdvisor to look up the hotel, to read people's reviews. They'll usually tell you if they felt safe there, if it was noisy, if they had to like shove something under the door. Not ideal. But just make sure that your hotel is in a place that's maybe frequented by tourists or very popular with locals so that you know it's a safe destination. Now, when you're staying in your hotel, always make sure to lock the doors. Lock both the deadbolt and the little physical thing. That way if somebody has a key, they can't get in. So that's super important. Always lock your doors. And you might want to go so far as to purchase a doorstop alarm, which is this great little device that you just shove into the bottom of the door. And if anybody tries to open the door, it not only stops it, but it will set off a rather loud alarm. Just don't forget to inactivate it before you go out the door because it's loud. Next thing you want to do is delay your posting on social media. I always feel okay doing real-time posts when I'm traveling with a group, but if I'm there by myself, nobody's going to know I was there until after I leave. I don't want anybody to know that I'm traveling by myself actively. It's just the internet is so wide open. It's so easy for people to search things off of geotags and other internet data that I just don't do it. One of the simplest ways that you can keep yourself safe is just to delay posting. My next tip is to obviously go out and meet people, meet the locals. Like this is how you immerse yourself in a culture. But set boundaries, okay? Don't share your hotel information with anyone. Don't tell people that you're like soloing around, and never ever follow somebody back to their place. Remember, no is a complete sentence. And if you need to ask for help, like don't be afraid to ask bartenders or servers or whoever for assistance. With that, make sure that you know the emergency number for the country that you're in. 911 doesn't work everywhere. This is such a simple step that so many of us forget. Make sure you know the local emergency number, maybe put it in your phone so that if you ever need help, you know how to get in touch. I think the most important safety information that I could give anybody who's traveling is to be aware and look like you know what you're doing. Just having the posture of somebody who has confidence and is walking through the world like they know where they're going is a huge deterrent, okay? If you're walking around, you're looking at your phone, you're trying to like find something on a map, you're walking around the street looking like this, you've got a map out, that just screams tourist. So even if you have to like pull over into a cafe to look up wherever you're trying to go or to ask for directions, like take that to the side. Don't be out in the open looking unaware. Looking like you know what you're doing is one of the best deterrents to being a victim of crime when you're traveling abroad. And the last safety tip I'll give you is to use apps to help you on your journey. Take the time to save your hotel location in your Google Maps or your Apple Maps so you always know how to get back there. Use an app like TripIt or your airline's app to keep you updated with your flight schedules, and use something like Viator, which will help you find reputable, trusted tours and groups to meet up with. We are super lucky to have amazing technology at our fingertips that makes traveling solo so much easier. Now, the last thing you have to do to take your solo adventure is commit. And this might honestly be the hardest part because there are a lot of ways that you can talk yourself out of this. But I want you to get excited about taking this trip. I want you to tell your friends, your coworkers, your family about how excited you are, because they're gonna help hold you accountable by asking you questions about your journey. And if you wanna get really crazy, maybe book some non-refundable tickets, because there's no better incentive to do something than to having money on the line. And remember, if you can travel on your own, you will be unstoppable. If you found this video helpful, try this one next. It's got all my best hotel hacks to make your trip incredible. Until next time, go create a life you love. Bye.